Good evening. Tonight we're going to start with lesson 20 and it's going to do part 2. I can solve division problems without remainders using the area model, but tonight we're going to be focusing on dividing with number bonds. A number bond is where you have a bigger number and you're breaking it down to smaller numbers. And we're going to be using this type of math organizer to help us with our division tonight. Our first division problem is 84 divided by 2. Now, if we were going to look at the area model that we just learned previously, it would look something like this. So here we have a rectangle, and we're dividing by 2, so that's what we're going to make our width. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at that tens place, and that's an 8, but it's really an 80. So we're going to put 80 in the middle, and we're saying to ourselves, how much can 2 go into that 80? How many tens can we group together with that 2 to get that 80? And the answer would be a 40. So 40 times 2 is 80. But now what we have to do is take 80 and subtract it from 84. And we're left with 4. So we need to add a little segment to our perimeter, to our area model, and we put a 4. So now we're going to say 2 times what gives us 4, and it's 2. And we add this up, and it equals 42. But now, how would that look like if we were going to use a number bond? All right, so a number bond, we're going to have something big in here, and we're going to break up 84. And in the beginning here, we're going to say, okay, that 80, we're going to be dividing it by 2. So let's make 80 divided by 2. And then over here, we're left with, from 84, take away 80, breaking it down, we're left with 4 divided by 2. So now, we need to now add to our number bond. 80 divided by 2 is 40. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. We add up these two circles, and we now have an answer of 42. Okay, the next problem is 45 divided by 3. So if we're going to, again, look at an area model and how that would look, we would make our rectangle. We would put the 3, because that's our width, that's what we're dividing by, and we're going to look in the tens, and that 10 says a 40. So we're going to ask ourselves, 3 times what gives us close to 40? Well, there is nothing that is going to give us 40, but there is something, because 3 times 10 does equal 30. So I'm going to put a 30 here, and 3 times what equals 30? It's 10. So now we need to take this 30 and subtract it with, subtract 30 from 45, and we are left with 15. So I'm going to add a segment, and this is going to be a 15. So now we have to say 3 times what gives us 15? 5. So we need to add this plus this, and it equals 15. So 45 divided by 3 equals 15. Now how is this going to look like as a number bond? That's our focus tonight. And we're going to start with 45 in the top, and we're going to break this down. Okay, so 45, and we're going to be dividing by 3. And when we divide by 3, 3 goes into that 40. We can't go in there just evenly, so we have to say how many groups of that, how many tens of 3 can we get close to 40, and that would be 10 times 3 is closest to 40. So this number would become a 30. And 30 take away from 45 is left over with 15. And since we're going to continue to divide by 3, our number over here becomes a 10. And 15 divided by 3 gives us a 5. So we add these two numbers up and we get a 15. All right, next one we have is 98 divided by 2. This time, let's start with the number bond. instead of the area model. All right, so now we're going to put 98 in our top, and we're going to break this down by division. Excuse me. So now we're dividing by 2. We're dividing by 2, and we're looking at the 9. And so how many groups of that 2, like with tens, how many tens can we get that would be closest to 9 if we're going to be multiplying by 2? And the closest we can get to that would be an 80. So here's an 80. How did we get to an 80? Well, and then over here, we are left with an, whoops. Now we're left with 98. Take away 80, we're left with 18. So 18 is over here. So now we have to continue to break this down. Dividing by 2, and 2 goes into 80 how many times? 2 goes into 8, 4, bring up 0, this is 40. And break this one down, 2 goes into 18 9 times. So we add these up, 40 plus 9 is 49. So the answer from 98 divided by 2 is 49. All right, check this out. Some of your classmates are going to show you how to use number bonds tonight. Enjoy. Okay, now I would like you to try some problems tonight. Your first problem tonight is number bonds. I'd like you to create a number bond, 45 divided by 3. Be sure to bring in your number bonds to show me tomorrow. Your next question, create a number bond with 96 divided by 8, and I'd like you to bring your number bonds to show me tomorrow in school. And your last question tonight, create a number bond, 52 divided by 4, and please bring in your number bond in school tomorrow. Great work tonight, guys. We will practice this more tomorrow. Have a wonderful night.